Chairperson of the UPA, respected Sonia Ji, Minister for Information and Broadcasting, Shri Manish Tiwari Ji, other cabinet and ministerial colleagues, Justice Kotshu, Shri Bimal Chulka, distinguished representatives of the media fraternity, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to be here today on an occasion that represents a milestone in public engagement. The inauguration of the National Media Center is not only about unveiling New Delhi's latest landmark. This center also showcases our ability to keep pace with similar state-of-the-art facilities across the world. It symbolizes the vibrant mood of the existing media landscape in our country. As a communication hub and a single window facility, I am sure it will fulfill the needs and requirements of our media fraternity, many of whom are present here today. Dear friends, the exponential growth in India's media sector began during the decade of the 90s. The media, not coincidentally, were among the principal beneficiaries of the wave of economic reforms that were introduced in the country during that period. Growing economic activity created the need for better and more intensive communication, which itself had a commercial aspect to it. A virtuous cycle came about in which the increased reach of media, both print and electronic, opened up ever newer markets which benefited producers and consumers alike. In fact, I would like to think that the phenomenon of India as a world power in cricket has something to do with the fact that our electronic media are able to create and unite a huge block of consumers, reaching whom is the dream of many marketing professionals. Ladies and gentlemen, the story of reform and liberalization in the media sector, which is a continuing one, is obviously a success story. The size of the media industry alone demonstrates that very amply. But the media are not merely a mirror of business activity. They are a reflection of the entire society at large. Economic reforms and liberalization over the last 2 decades and more have wrought great societal change in our country. Our media have reflected this process and also been affected by the associated changes. I would even say that the pace of these changes has been so rapid that the documentation of its impact on the media has been somewhat inadequate. Technological advancements like the internet, the telecom revolution, low-cost broadcasting, social media, and cheaper publishing facilities that exist today were inconceivable 2 decades ago. Ladies and gentlemen, change inevitably brings challenge in its way. Those of you who are the practitioners of the media industry have a very special responsibility to assess, tackle, and overcome the challenges that 2 decades of socio-economic change have brought about. In a vibrant democracy such as ours, which revels in free inquiry and quest for answers, this is a significant calling. But there is need for caution while executing this responsibility. A spirit of inquiry must not morph into a campaign of calumny. A witch hunt is no substitute for investigative journalism, and personal prejudices must not replace the public good. At the end of the day, credibility is the media's currency and is integral to its contract with the reader or viewer. There is also the question of a certain responsibility for social harmony and public order. I emphasize this particularly in the light of social media revolution, which is rendering irrelevant the lines between a connected citizen and professional journalist. A mature and wise handling of this phenomenon is essential if we are to avoid the tragedy last year that befell many innocent souls who became victims of an online propaganda campaign and were then driven across the country to save their lives in their home states. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a reality that journalism cannot be divorced from the business of which it is a part. The responsibility of a media organization are not limited to the viewers and readers alone. The companies also have an obligation to their investors and shareholders. The tussle between bottom lines and headlines is a fact of life for them. But this should not result in a situation where the media organizations lose sight of their primary directive, which is to hold up a mirror to society and help provide a corrective. The media and civil society are an essential part of democracy and nation building. Now that we are at a decisive stage in taking our rightful place in the Committee of Nations, I am confident that they will not be found wanting in this collective effort to consolidate India as a plural, inclusive, and progressive society. I would also like to take this opportunity to reiterate the commitment of the UPA government in fostering a free, pluralistic, and independent media. Our initiatives aim to bridge the information divide and to provide our citizens knowledge and information so as to equip them to respond to social, economic, and technological challenges. Our communication architecture is aimed at empowering our people with quality information. Through the innovative use of social media, I am confident that our government will address and strengthen the communication needs of an aspirational India and connect with our younger generation. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Media Center is just the latest step in addressing the diverse communication needs of our country in the future. I congratulate the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting on this achievement and urge it to remain at the cutting edge of media innovation. I thank you.
Thank you, sir.